They try to drown me. I can swim upstream so profoundly. I can stay calm in a dire situation. I'm at it every day, no time for a vacation. And I smell blood in the water. Everything I do, yeah, I do it for my daughters. Now I'm gonna shut your lips. It's time for a brand new episode of what? We talking jit, say what? We talking jit, say what? We talking jit, say what? We talking jit, said it's time for a brand new episode of Talking Jit.
All right, and it's getting kind of late, so one of the last things I was going to ask you, who do you got this weekend? We got Usman versus Islam, Makhachev.
No, you got Usman versus Khamzat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why did I say Islam Makhachev? Who?
He's fighting Volk.
Volk. Yeah, sorry, I switched it up. I got distracted. Yeah, you got Islam versus Volk. Who do you got?
Man,
Rematch.
I think my like fighter IQ sense says that I think Islam is going to come out and fight a better fight than he did the first time, and he's going to be more successful, and I think he's going to win. But like the underdog story loving part of me really wants Volk to pull that one off.
I think Islam won the first fight personally.
I do too. I think it was a close fight.
A lot
I
of
thought
people say Volk and they swear on it, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, and a lot of people need to get their fucking standards with fights like secured, because sometimes the fight is won. Like, for instance, what's his name? Aljamain Sterling beats Piotr Jan because he backpacked him for 2 rounds, 3 rounds, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's pure dominance, and that's a win. He didn't tap him. What's his face? Goddamn, Piotr Jan was punching Sterling in the face while he had his back while he's in a back triangle. You know what I mean? Punching him in the face, not getting choked out, and finished the end of all those rounds standing up. Got out of him. But yet, that is pure dominance for Aljamain Sterling. But when Islam does that to Volk, well, it barely affected him. He barely did anything. He didn't do any damage. And it's kind of like, well, your standards just flip-flop right there. A lot of you people, can't say one fight backpacking someone is dominance, and then on the next fight backpacking someone is, no damage. So, and I think Islam, in my eyes, won that first fight.
I thought he did too, and I actually rewatched that last week just like in anticipation for the rematch. And the first time I watched it, I thought Volk won personally, and I was like, but I was kind of biased because I wanted that underdog story, and I was like, oh, it's so impressive that he was able to stand up from the ground. But at the end of the day, like, Islam definitely took 3 rounds. He controlled him more, and in at least one of those rounds, the bell saved it, because I think when you got that body triangle on him, yeah, he made it to the bell, but if that bell doesn't go for another 5 minutes, I think Islam finds a way to sink in a choke.
Yeah. You're going to eventually make a mistake.
Yeah, when somebody's on your back, like, especially if they have the control that he had on Volk, where he's locked in that body triangle, it's only a matter of time. And sometimes you get saved by the bell. So I think Islam's going to take the rematch, although I would like to see Volk win. And then I think Khamzat's going to beat Kamaru Usman. I think Khamzat is the truth. I think he's going to be one of the best middleweights that we've seen in a long time. I think he could blow through Strickland. I think he could be the champ in that. I love Khamzat. Even though like I didn't like that he missed weight in that who was he supposed to fight at 170?
Nate Diaz.
Yeah, which I wasn't excited for that fight anyway. I thought Khamzat was going to ragdoll Nate Diaz, and I didn't want to see that. And then he goes out and ragdolls Kevin Holland. But yeah, I think he's one of, if not the best middleweights that we've seen in a long time. And I think he's going to handily beat Kamaru Usman, who's coming
Kevin
off
Holland's a black
losing
belt,
streak.
right?
Yeah.
Dude, I was wondering too, like, Khamzat came out fucking like 100, like, chasing the man. Like, there was no like full gas pedal. It just runs across the ring, grabs him, starts slinging him around, like going ham, squeezing. And I was like wondering in my head, I'm like, does Khamzat blow his wad, or is he able to do that for like 5 rounds? You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like,
I saw some training footage of him. I don't think that there's going to be many people who are going to be able to keep up with his pace, especially if he fights strategically. Like I think one of the best fights he's had was when he fought Gilbert Burns, but I didn't think he fought that very strategically. I think he just went out there and wanted to fight the guy.
Yeah,
And
he
that's
was
kind of what I
stuck.
like about him is he's like, as much as he's a great fighter, he's an incredible martial artist. He likes to fight, and you can't teach that. And that's like what makes a champion.
He even said with that fight that like he was like so dead set on just like dominating him. Like
you can tell he wanted to knock him out. He's just like, I'm gonna stay on the feet and we're gonna bang this out and see who's gonna come out and be the better fighter in this match. And I like that in a fighter. It's probably the reason I like Volk so much, is because he does the same thing. It's like, yeah, people get him on the ground, people get him deep in submissions, but he's about as game bred as they come. I mean, he's like
even Sean Strickland. There's videos of Hamzat in the gym with Sean Strickland, and Sean Strickland's telling people like Hamzat has no chill. Like he doesn't know how to just like
light spar.
Yeah, like he's talking about like they've got like new guys in the gym, like first fight pros, and Hamzat's just like wailing on him. And he's like, Hamzat, this guy's new. Go easy. And he's like, Hamzat looks at me and he's like, yeah, I'll go easy.
And buries him.
Just bury him. I'd be super hyped for that guy. Do you think he would have beat Paulo Costa had they fought?
Yeah, I think I honestly thought that was going to be a better fight than the Usman matchup, especially because Usman's coming up on short notice and he's coming up a weight class. Right. So, how does he do with a bigger, stronger Hamzat? Because that guy is big at 185. He's huge at 170.
And you know what? It might be one of those situations. I don't know how you feel, but it might be one of those situations where it's like a win-win for Hamzat, because if Usman beats you, that's not really like too much of a blemish on your record. Like it's like
you got beat by one of the best welterweights of all time.
Yeah, like one of the most dominant welterweights. It's not like you got beat by a chump. Like like everyone's kind of waiting for Usman to rebound. So it's kind of like, yeah, Usman's the truth. Like, what I mean? If Usman wins, Usman's like the truth. But if Hamzat wins, then Hamzat's the truth. Either way, both of them have the same potential. You know what I mean? Like,
so what do you think about if Hamzat wins? Do you think him and Izzy fight for the title, or not for the title, but to fight Strickland?
I think Izzy's done for a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he took a year off.
I think he announced. I haven't got to watch the whole video, but I didn't get to the meat of the video. But I think he announced that he's going to be out of the fight game for a while.
Oh man, that's a fight I'd like to see, is Hamzat versus Izzy. But I also think stylistically, Hamzat is a lot to handle for Izzy.
I think that as well.
Izzy can strike with the best of them, but I think
Hamzat Izzy doesn't mind putting his back on the cage, and that's like one thing I've like noticed about him is he doesn't mind with his back on the cage, and I think Hamzat will just shoot.
And he likes to wrestle from open space too. So I think Izzy would have a great shot, but I just don't see many people. I don't see anybody handily beating him.
Handily beating Hamzat.
Yeah, I like if somebody beats him, they're gonna have to go to war and they're gonna have to earn every bit of it. And he's not gonna let a fight go to points. He's not gonna take steps back. He's not gonna be the guy who's gonna get beat because he didn't engage. If you go into fight with that guy, it's gonna be a long night.
I think he's fucking like I like when I think of a champion, I'm like that. Like not like a points champion, not like a pick your matches champion. I'm thinking like, as much as like I'm not like a Conor McGregor bandwagoner, like that's one thing. Like he always went out and fought, and it was like a finish, whether it was like him getting finished, but like he wasn't like a like
leave it up to the judges.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna try and stylistically, squirt one out. Pause.
Yeah. Like he kind of like. I kind of feel like I was over the Conor McGregor train, pretty early on here, but like that's one thing about him is like he went out and he was like he wasn't like a boring fighter. You know what I mean? Champion.
Same with John Jones.
John Jones, yeah. Like,
if he goes out there, he's gonna go. He wants to finish fights.
and I think that's like a champion mindset, like always looking for the kill.
Yeah, and I think the matchup that I would like to see, although they're currently in two different weight classes, is I'd like to see the Bo Nickel Hamzat fight. Bo Nickel keeps calling him out,
Oh
and
my god, that would
I
be
think that would
fun.
be a really fun stylistic matchup. You have
That
two
would scare
top
me
level
because
wrestlers.
how Bo Nickel just cracked that guy. That last fight.
He's kills everybody, dude. He's like,
But
has
did
he
you
even
see
gotten to
that
the second
knockout?
round? Yeah, I've seen all of his fights, dude. I think
Dude,
he's
with
also the
that
truth.
with that knockout, you got to be scared of that dude. Like that, and that guy was supposedly like hands and could bang, dude. Like that guy like was almost basically like saying like I'm gonna knock him out before he takes me down. And Bo Nickel's just like, wow, bro, that was a loud punch.
Dude, similarly, I think he's got potential to be the best welterweight in that division, be a champion. Like, I don't see Leon Edwards having a lot of answers for him. He's got to develop a little bit. Like, don't get me, I don't know if he's ready to be the champion yet, but I don't see Colby Covington having a lot of answers for a guy like Bo Nickel. I don't see Leon Edwards having a lot of answers. Kamaru Usman would be a really cool stylistic matchup if you could get a really healthy, full camp Kamaru Usman. But other than that, in that division, I think he's going to run through a lot of people.
For some reason, I could just see Hamzat's picking up Usman. I don't know why. It's probably not that easy, but
if anybody is, can out wrestle Kamaru, because Kamaru's a great wrestler, got great takedown defense. It would be somebody who's like got that pit bull mindset, like Hamzat, who's just like not going to give up on takedowns, is not going to gas on, grinding you to the ground, and is also hits really, really, really hard and has a lot of really effective striking from clinches.
I don't know what other fights are on there. Those are just the two big ones.
That, and then did you see, the Big Dan in jiu-jitsu, the Big Dan?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how he does at ADCC this year, because he just won East Coast Trials. He's been running through all of the ADCC competitions, but he's in the same weight class as Gordon Ryan. He's in the same weight class as Felipe Pena, Nicky Rod, who he lost to in that EBI event. So I'm excited to see if he's going to be able to pull anything spectacular out at ADCC this year at the big event.
Huh. He's interesting. He's like a big freakish athlete.
Yeah, and I saw his trials final match on Flow Grappling, and he smother choked the guy in like 4 minutes. I mean, he's a lot to deal with.
That's a good move for him. That's definitely a good move for him. Big, powerful.
Yeah, I mean,
dude. A lot of real estate.
Like break people's teeth through your chest. Like he's gonna be a lot to handle. I mean, I think Gordon Ryan could handle him pretty steadily. I'd like to see the rematch with Nicky Rod, but it'll be interesting to see if he's good like that on that level of stage.
All right, last part of this, man. Who do you think could dethrone Gordon Ryan, if anyone could, or is he untouchable? That's a
so my
answer I'll let you have.
Yeah, thank you. My view on Gordon Ryan is that I don't think anybody's gonna beat him if he gets to choose the rule set. So I think if anybody has a chance to beat him, it would either be in like an EBI rule set with the overtime, where both people get back control or the arm bar, or in like an ADCC rule set where it's a 10-minute match. Halfway through, you have points and beating him by points. But I don't think anyone's going to submit him. And I don't think anybody beats him in like a 30-minute or a no time limit match. And if I had to choose who, I think Nicky Rod has a good chance. I think he's super athletic, super strong. That would be my pick. I would say probably Nicky Rod. Yeah. I haven't seen anyone else really come close.
I know I'm fucking psycho, but I keep saying Craig Jones.
I don't think we'll see them ever fight again.
I don't think so, but I think if there was like, I don't think physically Gordon Ryan is going to be beatable. I think that he's proven like how fucking far ahead he is. And I don't know what it is. It's not like, I was talking about this the other day. It's like I was telling this professor, I'm like, what the fuck is like? He makes you wonder because like they're doing shit that like if I had you in my guard and you're like trying to knee cut or knee slice, I'm gonna be like, okay, he's trying to knee slice. I'm gonna defend it like this. But they're doing those moves. You know what I mean? It's like I'm like, you got to tell me these are the top of the top dogs. They've never seen a knee slice before. There's something about it that is just like unstoppable. It's just a weird concept. It's like it's not like these guys don't know that the armbar is coming. You know what I mean?
And they know every defense for it.
Yeah, exactly. But they still fucking fall for it and get caught in it. And it's like, and that's how Gordon kind of is. He's not like pulling shit out of nowhere. He's just slowly inching his way towards it. And it's like you're kind of watching the guy like inch by inch be defeated. And
it's like people say that about Hodger Gracie. It's like when you watch a Hodger Gracie gi match, like he's not ever doing like these new jujitsu meta moves. He's gonna hit you with like a collar choke from the closed guard or a cross choke from the closed guard. That's stuff that you learn in the first month of jujitsu, but when it's done absolutely perfectly, it's indefensible.
Yeah. And I think that the only way to beat Gordon Ryan, this is my output, is Craig Jones, because I feel like he could live rent free in Gordon Ryan's head, whether Gordon Ryan would show it or not. I think he could do it. And I think that he could just mentally, I think that's the only way, is just to kind of mentally deflate him. Like not let Gordon's ego or Gordon's like game. Because Gordon Ryan's in control of all this shit before it's even anything.
Well, the other thing about Gordon Ryan that I think is one of the reasons he's been so unbeatable is you'd have to break him. Like they'd almost have to call the match off because his arm broke or his leg broke or his knee busted. Because like you even saw in the match with Nicky Ryan, you hear his ankle pop like 4 times, loud snap, definitely tore up some ligaments, and like it didn't even phase him. He was able to finish the match. Like I think if you're gonna beat him, it's not going to be to tap. It's like the ref's going to have to be like, oh my God, his arm is, bent in ways it shouldn't bend. I got to call this match.
Even Nicky Rod said that, like, I think it was on like the, whatchamacallit podcast, the, what's the Russian dude with the suit? Why can't I think of
Lex Friedman
podcast? I think he said like, Gordon's not going to tap. Like you're going to have to break it or choke him. But
yeah, I think more than likely the way that you'd have to beat him is to put him to sleep.
So I think personally, the only way to beat him would be mentally. Don't let his game get implemented from the start. Like Craig Jones, like it's just like you can't touch Craig. Like Craig Jones's trolling game is so on point, and like he's just so fucking funny and doesn't care that I think that like if Gordon was to initiate like agitation and like all the bullshit talking and stuff like that, I don't think it would touch Craig Jones, which would piss Gordon Ryan off whether he showed it or not. And I think that like Craig Jones would have just so much shit to like throw out there that it would like my like scenario is just like Gordon Ryan would kind of mentally be deflated and his ego would be like a little bit in check. And I think that and Craig Jones has like enough skill that I think, and they've trained together so much that I think that like that could be the perfect scenario to get him. And as Craig Jones says, he never loses 4 times in a row. Nobody beats him 4 times, bro. He said it himself.
Hey, I would, if they have that match, I would pay to go see it. I'd want to see that one live. Like if that was in Austin, Texas, I'd probably buy a plane ticket.
You know, it'd be fucking dope. Like the minute they engage, someone turned off all the lights.
Oh, you just hear a big snap and nobody knows who did what.
Yeah, right. Like that would make shit intense. Like you got to turn on the camera or turn on the lights and see who's standing up. Like, all right, bro. Well, hey, man, I do appreciate this. I ran you past your bedtime, and I take full responsibility for it.
Look at you being so responsible. No, dude, I appreciate.
Now that I got what I wanted.
Yeah. Now that you got my money and my time.
Yeah, exactly.
No, dude, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. I love that you're going after this and you're making this podcast. And all I got to say to you, dude, is make sure I get my fucking t-shirt. I need to wear my Talking Jit t-shirt.
Oh yeah, I got it. I just gotta, we'll it'll be a thing, and it's you'll get it,
Yeah, just make sure if you come to
I'll sign
open
it.
mat on Sunday, hey, you can sign it. If you come to open mat or whatever this week, make sure you got that bitch in your car. Put it in your trunk today.
Yeah, I've got the box of them in my. I was intending on seeing everybody last week, and I've handed a lot of them out, but a lot of people weren't like around. So I got them on me. So if I catch you live, I got you, bro.
Well, bro, I appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your week, man. Keep grinding on everything you're doing. Keep being a good father to your daughters, man. And I
Thanks, bro.
appreciate you having me on.
Hey, man, the pleasure's all mine.
All right, bro. I'll see you at training.
Toodles.
Peace.
I think the podcast is fucking sick. If you're listening to it and you're like, I don't know if I want to listen to the next episode of this podcast, you're probably a bitch ass. You need to listen to the next episode of this podcast and keep listening to it. Because my friends down here are trying to make shit happen. And we're going to make some shit happen.